Hey, what is up guys? It's AZ Gamer here with the second episode of the Xbox One vs PlayStation 4 series. In this video I'll be tackling the hardware, so let's get down to it. So, ever since E3 2013 when the Xbox One was officially announced, I think, the PS4 was announced 3 months before at February, and the Xbox One was announced around E3. So we heard that the PS4 had 50% more power than the Xbox One in terms of graphical ability, like it has 0.5 more teraflops, which is 500 more gigaflops, which is very significant in the tech world, and 400 more shader cores, more ROP units, stuff like that. So better resolution, better textures, all of that kind of stuff. But we never saw it put into play because all the gameplays shown to us by the Xbox One and PS4, they never told us what resolution or frame rate they were running at, so we never really knew what the differences would be. We just assumed that it would just mean exclusives to the PS4 like Uncharted and stuff would just look better than Xbox One exclusives. Until around launch, like a month before launch in October 2013, we heard news that Call of Duty Ghosts was going to be 720p on the Xbox One but 1080p on the PS4. Both the same frame rate, but the resolution thing was big because a lot of games in last gen were 720p. A lot were upscaled to 720p, but many were also native 720p. So for a next-gen console to be running a game 720p was pretty embarrassing. And while the PS4 did it at a full 1080p, something that was not done by by the last-gen console before, except for one game, which was Wipeout HD. But that's besides the matter. So AC4 was also 720p on Xbox One, and 900p on the PS4 until the day one patch boosted it up to 1080p, so that wasn't a problem. And Dead Rising 3 was 720p on Xbox One, Rise was 900p. All this stuff to us all this news made everyone think that the Xbox One wouldn't be able to do 1080p, but then Forza Motorsport 5 was announced as 1080p 60 FPS, so that was good, but everyone dismissed it because it's a racing game and stuff, and all the games on PS4 that were also on Xbox One were at a higher resolution. This is due to the fact that the PS4 is much more powerful than the Xbox One in terms of graphical ability. For the CPUs, the Xbox One has a 1.75 GHz octa-core processor. The PS4 also has an octa-core processor, but it's 1.6 GHz. The Microsoft overclocked the Xbox One CPU right before launch to get a little bit of a performance boost, although it really doesn't do much. For the RAM, the PS4 uses blazing fast GDDR5 memory, 8 GB of GDDR5 memory, while the Xbox One uses 8 GB of 2133 MHz DDR3 memory, which is found on the standard gaming PC or whatever. And yeah, they also have 32 megabytes of ESRAM, which was kind of difficult for the developers to work with at first, though they're starting to learn to work with it better. Like Titanfall also had a day one update after they learned how to work with it better. And yeah, so for the graphics cards, the PS4 has approximately 1.84 teraflops of compute performance, while the Xbox One is stuck at around 1.31 teraflops, basically the equivalent of a Radeon HD 7770 in the PC gaming world, or 7790, while the PS4 is the equivalent of the Radeon R7 265. For shader cores, I think the Xbox One is around 780 something, while the PS4 is around 1080 or something like that, but I know the PS4 is 300 to 400 more than the Xbox One. All this is really big in terms of what resolution they can run the games at, what graphics settings. So I could see that all developers, their goal is to run all next-gen games at basically what is high settings on PC. In order to do that, in order to keep a stable frame rate, they need to make either they need to deduct resolution, stuff like that. So let's say for Battlefield 4, in order to run the game at basically high settings at 60 FPS, the PS4's resolution would have to be at 900p, while the Xbox One at 720p. Note that there are still many demanding games that not even the PS4 can run at 1080p, like UFC's 900p on both consoles, and Battlefield 4, for example. Watch Dogs was 900p on the PS4, but I just think that's bad optimization. And Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare will be 1080p on PS4 and 900p on Xbox One, so yeah, I'd say the PS4 wins this. So yeah, thanks for watching, subscribe, like, and stay tuned.